Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
Okay, I will ask everybody to please rise. And we'll start with an invocation by Pastor Michael Ciacciola. And then please stay standing for the pledge. Welcome, Michael.
Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, and thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Today we're going to meet for that very purpose. The gift and the blessings of liberty and authority that you have granted to us in your wisdom. And so we also pray individually for Jeff Boone and for Carm Baines and for Dan Flores and Jeff Stevens and Mike Ziggermeyer, because they need special wisdom from you, because they shepherd our county, and you are the good shepherd. You are the wonderful counselor. They carry authority and great responsibility, for they not only answer to we the people, but they answer to you. So guide them in truth. Let their decisions be sounded and grounded in principle and not the shifting sands of expedience. Would you bless them to lead? And would you bless us to be a people worthy of the blessings of liberty? Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much for that prayer. And I'll ask Sarah Eberhardt-Rios to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. May be seated. Well, that is, except for us, I guess we need to go up to the front here for presentations, if we would.
Will Pastor Michael Ciacciola please join the board up front for a presentation of a proclamation honoring a grateful nation remembers.
A Grateful Nation remembers May 25th through the 26th. This Memorial Day, we honored the brave men and women who gave their lives in service to our nation. In 1992, Pastor Michael Ciacciola of Calvary Christian Center began Memorial Day ceremonies to give his congregation and the community an opportunity to pay tribute to veterans and military personnel. Every year, over 200 church members participate in the ceremonies. Calvary Christian Center's volunteers contribute to the event by designing sets, constructing displays, and performing in dramatic military reenactments. Many Beale Air Force Base airmen also volunteer and assisted with the construction of the Freedom's Heroes Outdoor Memorial and erected the Alaskan tent for the Afghanistan Field Hospital. Over the years, the memorial display has expanded, now featuring numerous panels that honor and commemorate the sacrifices of our fallen heroes. The Sutter County Board of Supervisors proudly recognize A Grateful Nation Remembers and Pastor Michael Ciacciola for his efforts in creating this powerful exhibit, which offers the community a meaningful way to pay their respects on Memorial Day. So with that, I'm going to clap for it.
On behalf of my dad and the many volunteers who put this together, I so appreciate your kind words. This beautiful presentation that you all have made. It's beautiful, not just because that you have taken the time today to do this on a on a Tuesday in the month of May, but because every day. We remember that we owe a great debt of gratitude to the more than 7,000 who laid down their lives in a global war on terror, to the more than 58,000 who spent their lives fighting tyranny in Asian jungles half a world away, to our grandfathers who stood up in World War II, going all the way back to that first generation who stood for liberty. More than 1 million lives have been spent on our behalf, for you and for me, so that we could be here today and make decisions and live lives in liberty like our ancestors and people around the world have never known. Much has been spent for us, and we owe them a great debt of gratitude. And so let the decisions that are made in this place today and the way that we carry ourselves every day and the things that we face, difficulties or things that we wrestle with or decisions we make, be made knowing that much has been spent for us by young men, 18, 19 years old, who gave up the lives they were living and gave up the lives that they might have lived to grow up to be married, to grow up to be fathers, revered old men with gray hair. They spent it all for you and for me. And so I thank you, gentlemen, and my fellow citizens here of Sutter County for being here today and remembering today and every day that for every one of those 1 million lives spent, you were worth it. You were valuable, and you matter. Thank you. Over the years, I don't know how many thousands to get.
Will the board please remain up front for a special presentation to the Board of Supervisors in recognition of the 170th anniversary of the formation of the Board of Supervisors?
Jeff Moon, you were here back then? Hello, Donna.
Hello. It's a little bit of a switch. I'm making a presentation to the Board of Supervisors. This was a complete surprise. I didn't know it was happening today. So most of you know that in 1850 the county was created and became a county. But what happened between that and 1855? Was it like the Wild West? No, not, well, it may have been, but. So it was actually run by the California Court of Sessions, and that was a court that was established in each county shortly after the statehood in 1850. And so it was a provisional system of governance, and it handled both county business and criminal cases before the election of the Board of Supervisors. The court was composed of a county judge, 2 justices of the peace, and the county clerk. The court was disbanded in each county upon the establishment of a Board of Supervisors, which happened in Sutter County in 1855. Back then, only 3 districts were formed in March of 1855, with elections held afterwards. So what happened on May 7th, 1855, 170 years ago, the first Board of Supervisors met. What did they do? The first action taken was the election of the chair from District 1. And they heard a petition for a ferry to run. There was 3. They heard a petition from a ferry to run from Vernon to Fremont on the Sacramento River. So they did that petition, and they approved that petition for that ferry to run. So that's what they did in the very first meeting. They actually had a few meetings every single day afterwards doing different things, including on Saturdays. Wow. So it probably did eventually, but I don't know. Therefore, as the current county clerk, I would like to present you, the current Board of Supervisors, a remembrance of the formation of the Sutter County Board of Supervisors. And Gina has those to present to you. And Steve, I think will give, yeah, there you go. Yeah. So that is actually the wording from the actual minutes that were handwritten back then, back in 1855, and the Sutter County Board of Seal, and then the 170th anniversary recommendation. So congratulations.
Oh, thank you, Donna.
You're welcome.
Well, let me just say that was very cool. So thank you, Donna, for that thought. And I had a question. What was the population, do you know, back in that time? I was just curious on, because you said there were 3 districts at the time that were formed. So that'd be interesting to find out. So this is really cool. I'll cherish this forever pretty much. So thank you. Okay, we're moving on to our next item on the agenda, which is the consent calendar. The consent calendar groups together those items which are considered non-controversial, which for prior policy direction has been given to staff, and that require only routine action by the board. The chair will advise the audience that matters may be adopted in total by one motion. However, the board may, at its option, upon request of a member of the public, consider any matter separately.
Through the chair,
Yes.
move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we'll go ahead and do a roll call vote.
Supervisor Boone,
Yes.
Supervisor Flores,
Yes.
Supervisor Ziegemeier,
Yes.
Supervisor Baines,
Aye.
Supervisor Stevens.
Aye.
Okay, and then I do need to back up and ask if there's any public comment. So, was there any?
We have one
You do?
public
Okay,
comment.
great.
Stephanie Racino.
Hi, Stephanie. Now it is, yes.
I bet you didn't think I was smart enough to know how to do it. Okay. Well, anyway, what I wanted to speak is that tomorrow is considered the future, and what we do today affects us tomorrow. And you guys have a big job because you are representing all of us. Every time, especially when I get on George Washington Boulevard, I mean, I appreciate I don't have to put 25 cents in a mattress and shake, or I have to put 50 cents into my car seat to see. But when I go down the road, and because of all my surgeries, it hurts like heck when you get potholes. And it destroyed one of my tires, one of this especially deep, sharp one, just before you turn over from George Washington onto 20. And everywhere you go, there's so many potholes. I mean, this is ridiculous. And we can now tell Mussolini to idiotia katorta, which is something I learned in a Russian class. And it's not an invitation to a nice place. But they are these roads are destroying so much, and we are being dictated to. We are getting our rights taken away by the state government. Now that we have Trump in, it's not so much the federal government. But we're still, why don't you stand up and forget all these ridiculous regulations the state is putting on us, because they're not, the feds don't even recognize them anymore. They've never filled out for the last 5 years what they call audible financials. They don't qualify for the money. And why are they telling us we have to spend all our money on most expensive materials and labor to fix our roads, to do other things? We in Sutter County are smart enough to have enough resources to do it ourselves. Heck, I can get my 5-year-old class, at church, I can get them to take their Play-Doh and fill in the potholes. Maybe that's not the right material, but we know there are materials that will expand and contract with heat and air and fill the potholes. And why pay these ridiculous prices in a county that isn't our regular labor force? Why are we being held hostage to that? And then dictating what is and isn't green energy? I mean, come on, we all know that gravity's free. And God's not charging us for the water that comes. And free-flowing, Yuba County's got it right. We had a chance to join Yuba County when they were doing Bullets Bar, but we chose not to. But we're letting the state dictate to us what we will and will not do. And I would like you to think about fixing it with our own resources and our own people. Thanks.
Thank you for your comments, Stephanie. Any further public comments? Okay, great. And look at that, now we're ahead because we did consent already. And we'll move on to appearance items. And go ahead, announce appearance items.
Presentation on Yuba-Sutter arts and cultural programs and activities.
Welcome, Mr. Reed.
Good afternoon, Chairman Flores, members of the board, staff, and members of the public. Great to be back for my annual report on Yuba-Sutter Arts and Culture, serving both Yuba and Sutter counties since 1981 as the local representative to the California Arts Council. I'm going to give you an overview of some of what we do, and for those of you that follow us, you may know some of this already, but I might have a few surprises here for you to open your eyes. Got a great board of directors. Thank you to Jeff Stevens for being our current Sutter County board representative. 3 full-time staff members, a couple of part-time contractors, and a whole host of volunteers. We have artists in residence covering pretty much every arts category. They both display their work in our gallery, the visual artists, as well as run our theater programs, whether it's our Convergence Theater, our youth performing arts program, after-school art programs. They serve in many ways, including our Yuba-Sutter Poet Laureate, nationally known Marcela Hernandez Castillo. This is our mission statement, but I want to just add, as you look at what we're doing in the community, when you're out selling Sutter to the outside world or even to constituents within the county, there's so many great assets here, whether it's natural resources, great schools, all kinds of, great sports events. I hope you'll add a little bullet point there that, no, by the way, we have a really vibrant arts and culture scene, both with museums and libraries and all the other organizations that we work with. And, oh, by the way, there's this Yuba-Sutter Arts and Culture group that does some pretty cool stuff, too, in both of their theaters. So, with that said, we do a lot of different things. We're currently under contract, to the city of Live Oak. We're doing 2 new murals you'll see in a moment down at Water Tower Park and that big, beautiful remodel that's coming our way. We work with all of our other arts organizations in the community, re-granting grants. We work with all of our school districts on a variety of programs. We'll get into more detail. I say we're both blessed and cursed to own 2 of our own facilities. You know what I mean. It's great to have these beautiful theaters, our Borough Center for the Arts in Marysville, which is still our home base, and then, of course, the Sutter Theater Center for the Arts on Plumas Street. And then we rent our Kalakara Art Studios complex at Walnut and Reeves in Yuba City. It's a series of artist studios. We do the after-school art classes there, and we just did our first outdoor art festival event. People tell me all the time, gee, I wish I knew that was going on and I would have come or attended. And I go through the list of what we do as far as marketing. That's my background. And they said, gee, I didn't know. And I said, well, we'll try again. But sometimes you got to go out and sort of look and pull down some information. So we kind of, I think, cover the bases. If we're not doing something that we should be, I hope someone will tell me. Arts and education, that's really the sweet spot. That's our biggest portfolio. We believe so strongly in providing arts opportunities to students from K through 12 and beyond. Student art shows, our Poetry Out Loud, our annual program, which this was its 20th year, started originally by the NEA, where our students go on to the statewide competition, and then the winners at the state level go back to Washington, D.C. for the national finals. Scholastic Art and Writing Awards. We had a student this year from Lyndhurst High School who won in the Scholastic Art category, and she's out fundraising and hitting up Rotary clubs and other groups to raise the money to go back to New York City in late June to Carnegie Hall to be part of the National Awards ceremony. So right here from the Yuba-Sutter area, pretty exciting. Arts and education, our Arts Exposure Program, that's grant money we get from the state through the California Arts Council. It's got a new name this year, but it's allowed us to take a lot of students, high school students specifically, on field trips. We take, usually every year at least 1 or 2 bus loads of students to Sacramento, typically to the Crocker Art Museum, and it's fascinating. Not only have they never been to an art museum, they've never even been to Sacramento, so it's really kind of life-changing. We're so proud of that. We've just sent in our application for this year's round of funding and hope we can continue it. Arts and education, some of you may be familiar with this, where we work with the special education groups around both counties. throughout the school year to do art projects, and then it culminates in a big one-day art festival. That was last year's event at the Virginia School out in Wheatland. We host a number of student art shows in our galleries. It's great for the kids to have an opportunity to hang their artwork in a public place where their parents, their families, friends can come out and they do the selfies, say, look at what I did, kind of thing. And it's just a beautiful thing to see. We have probably up to 12 or 13 of those now every year, and more schools are participating, including Lindcrest, very unique elementary school. Fourth graders come out, and that's the only elementary school that I'm aware of that really has an aggressive arts program, thanks to a couple of educators, and they just do amazing work inspired by some of the masters. Here's our homage to fourth grade version of Georgia O'Keeffe or Andy Warhol, or there's just so many just great works that they bring out, and we've been hosting most of these at the Sutter Theater. So exciting news, 2 years ago, through some grant money we received and worked with the Alliance for Hispanic Advancement, we've started something that's been on my bucket list for a number of years, a youth mariachi program. It's going into Marysville Charter Academy as well next year, and also in Sutter County schools, at least one or two. I don't know which campuses will be hosting to begin with. It's been kind of a middle school program. We're hoping to then move those students up into high school mariachi programs. Very exciting, and we've hosted a couple of concerts at the Sutter Theater. If you get a chance, come out and hear the students. It's really amazing what they've accomplished in just 2 years. And the dedicated teachers that, this wasn't necessarily their genre, but they took it upon themselves for the last 2 summers to go to Las Vegas to the National Mariachi Educators Conference. Of course, there's a conference for these things. And they've just come so far, and it's just a really kind of a beautiful thing. We do a lot with Yuba College. We just hosted their speech team at our Burroughs Theater in Marysville for a poetry recitation program. And we collaborated with Tawny Dotson on the creation of that mural on the side of the theater. If you haven't seen it, next time you're on the campus out there, it's 2,000 square feet. It was done by Rebecca Wallace. She's a former arts teacher out at Yuba College. So. These are just some of the posters, promotional materials for, these are all related to the after-school programs, including Yuba-Sutter Youth Choir just had their culminating concert 2 weeks ago at the Sutter Theater. A few other things we do. Convergence Theater Company is the local community theater program we started 3 years ago. They're currently in rehearsal for Steel Magnolias, which actually, I didn't realize, started as a stage play on Broadway, and then, of course, became the movie. There's, I think, a couple of movie versions. The Yuba-Sutter Big Band, a lot of our local professional musicians and music educators just put on a heck of a concert. 20, if you like big band, American song, book kind of jazz, big band orchestra stuff, check them out. A couple of great vocalists. And then our Center Stage Productions, that's led by Corey Kirsting and his wife Morgan. Corey, of course, is the music and theater educator at Yuba City High School. And I mean, just outstanding youth performances. And I don't have a kid in the game, so to speak, and I'm telling you, it's amazing what they accomplish. This summer they're doing Music Man, Aristocats, and Mary Poppins, so stay tuned for that. We do a lot of veterans art programs. Over the years, we've done murals working with veterans led by professional artists, Portraits of Veterans Project, where we taught basic studio photography skills to over 400 veterans in various locations throughout both counties. Had a small grant where we were able to actually help some veterans do bronze face casting. We never worked in bronze before, so that was pretty powerful. Currently, thanks to our friends at Sutter Yuba Behavioral Health, we have an ongoing veterans ceramics program. We had done this before. We lost that educator who was a veteran, found a new lead ceramist and another veteran who has great ceramic skills, Jason Lewis. So every week in our Burroughs Theater in Marysville, we bring in, it's usually 12 to 15 veterans, families, as well as active duty service men and women that can participate. 8-week sessions. They come away with finished products that they glaze, and it's pretty amazing. And thanks to the grant, we're getting ready to take at least 10 veterans that express interest to Verge Center for the Arts in Sacramento, where they can actually, learn wheel work. You can do a lot hand building, but the magic of the wheel. I hear it's very difficult, so I'm kind of curious. I hope we'll see some success with that, because being on the wheel is, as we all know, it's like, what's the name of that movie? Ghost? Ghost, yeah, I know. magic, right? I don't know if they'll be there, but, well, Patrick won't be, but maybe Demi. Anyway, very proud of that work that we've done with veterans groups. Lots of other programs, live music. Jim Achilles is one of our local rock stars. He's a music educator at Twin Rivers Charter Academy. We bring in other outside groups, John Hadamia and his jazz group from LA, Mariachi Bonitas, a professional all-female mariachi group from Sacramento. Lots of other special events. Some of you may have been at Harvest the Arts. We're kind of on hiatus right now. John Heyer, our dear friend, is doing some different things out at the farm, but watch for new things. I think Supervisor Flores had something to do with bandits and bandanas last year. Talk to me later. I'll show you the videos. Anyway, thanks. He's a great sport. Yeah. And Tanya. Other traveling art exhibits we bring in, Birds of a Feather, were 5 incredible indigenous artists from Northern California. Raj Colon, some of you were involved with that presentation, with all of her work that deals with oppressed minorities really around the world. She's in Germany now, teaching and continuing her work practice. Short Film Festival, we've done that for several years now, and Yuba College is very involved with that with their students, but it's open to anyone that wants to make a 5 to 8 minute film, and then we do the big screening, and it's just been a blast what people come up with very few parameters. Just do your thing and come share it with the world, and we have a little bit of prize money and have a lot of fun with it. Other specialty programs, outside performing arts groups, Larry and Joe, they've been at the Kennedy Center. We were able to get them inexpensively because they were between big city engagements here in Northern California. Other special grant programs we get, Jump Starts, we've had several years, and that's to help provide art programming in some of the continuation schools, as well as Camp Singer for at-risk system-engaged youth. Outdoor Equity Grant from California Parks and Rec, that was to take folks on outdoor, and still is, it's ongoing, outdoor experiences, cross-country skiing, mountain climbing at Quarry Park, Adventure Park. But every one of the events has or outings have an art component, whether it's nature journaling or sketching of some sort. So. Excuse me. Arts Exposure is the field trip grant we talked about. A couple years ago, we took Yuba City High School students to the Getty Museums in LA. So, it even takes us that far sometimes. Regranting. We don't currently have a program underway, but during COVID, we got a $150,000 grant from the NEA, RIP. Which allowed us to re-grant to these various local artists and arts organizations money. I mean, Master Chorale, the Symphony, Yuba City Youth Ballet, to continue their work. And part of that money is what helped get the Youth Mariachi program started. I was on the committee for the Upstate California Creative Course, so Yuba-Sutter Arts couldn't apply directly, but that was $300,000 brought into the Yuba-Sutter area to support various artists and arts projects. I think you're familiar with the Arboga Assembly Center. That was a California State Library grant that I received a couple of years ago, working with the local Japanese American Citizens League to commemorate what occurred there in 1942. The murals on the top, of course, are on the side of the Sutter Theater. That's where our Rotary Club, the Yuba-Sutter Rotary Nightclub, was able to get one of those UCC grants. And we did a mural marathon. Those 5 murals were created in 48 hours. The lower mural is, it's on the wall across from the Buddhist church in Marysville. That was another state library grant. And they're bringing back, it was here last year too, the Buddhist church is bringing back the Oban Festival with the taiko drummers. And the parking lot's right here, and then that's the background as the drummers and dancers are doing their thing. So, pretty cool. You've all seen the utility boxes. That was another project in collaboration with Yuba City. Yuba City High School students did the tile mural. It's been taken down for refurbishment. It's also on the side of the Sutter Theater. At the back, we have our picket fence mural that was done during the mural marathon. Shane Grammer, one of the artists that was part of the mural marathon, came back to us a couple of weeks later and said, "You're nice people. I've got a private grant. They said I can go paint a mural anywhere I want. Would you like a free mural?" I said, "Yes, when do you start?" So Shane came back and worked with Tiffany there at Creative Interiors and chose a design that she liked, and that's that alleyway between Plumas Street and that parking area in the back. So pretty cool. We like to honor our major donors and contributors with stars in the sidewalk. People walk by, and I don't know if they think they're on Hollywood Boulevard or what, but it's kind of fun to watch. We do rentals. That's one of our revenue streams. I mean, we do everything we can to keep the doors open and the lights on. Had a big core financial meeting last Monday night. Had 150 folks in there. So spread the word. Just a snapshot of some of the money we bring in through these various grants. It's not millions yet, maybe someday, but it's certainly hundreds of thousands of dollars that we bring in to support the community in various ways. So. And again, our tent's pretty big. We work with pretty much every art and culture organization, government agency, and other organizations in the community. I mentioned the couple things that are coming up here. As a result of the grant that the city received to do the makeover at the Water Tower Park, they were able to provide us with funding. They hired us to do a mural on the side of Lee's Canton, and then also the other derelict wall on the alleyway. So it's going to be kind of surrounded in art. We're actually partnering with Blue Zones on the alley wall, which is great. They were able to come in with a little bit of money to help us do more, make the dollars spread a little further. I'm working on getting a grant for the Arboga Assembly Center. This little handmade model of mine on the right would be a, 10 or 12 foot tall series of 3 of the origami cranes made out of metal on swivels, so they'd be moving in the wind. I don't know what the final colors might be, so I'm still looking for grant money for that. So, but that would be in that front right corner of the Arboga Park if you've been out there. So a real sculptural element that would add an additional incentive, I think, for people to visit and learn more about what happened. This has also been on my bucket list for a while. Mr. Bloomberg Philanthropies, I think, started this idea on a big scale a number of years ago, but it's basically doing murals on the sidewalks and cross intersections. And so my initial grant that I'm working on, even as we speak, would be for Plumas Street and the 5 intersections. I'm on a couple of committees, Valley Visions and California Walks. It has, of course, a traffic calming effect as well. Any of you that hang out on Plumas Street, when we're in that office, it's absurd. I mean, the blinky light, stop sign has helped a little bit, but people just really go way too fast. This hopefully would help a little bit as well. So working on that, and hopefully we can get some grant funding to do that sometime this next year. Those aren't the designs necessarily. They'd be specific to the community. Students would be involved, some of our resident artists. So kind of an exciting future plan, we hope. And then, of course, the big one is the other half of the Sutter Theater. Most of you, I think, have been in back in the day when it was one big 900-seat theater. Right now, we've got, of course, the front half done, the black box theater, the lobby, the bar, the art gallery. But that back half is pretty much what you see on the left side there. It's just sort of a time capsule. So if we've got an architect working on designs. Candless and Associates out of Woodland. We tried to find somebody local, but couldn't. But we have architectural drawings, probably 80% of the way done. He's been in contact with the city. It'll be a 299 seat because anything over that, I don't think we could fit more than that, frankly, but kicks in a whole bunch of other requirements. So pretty exciting. It'll be a rather than the black box theater that we currently have, which is a flexible performing arts space, this would be a fixed stage, the proscenium arch, and more traditional, but for bigger acts where we can sell 300 seats. And hopefully, as we were discussing with this gentleman before the meeting began, to be able to fund outside groups to come right into town. So the seats are available. We've had them loosened up by our friends at Adventure Church. They came in with a crew and really knocked it out. So people are coming in for their man caves and other reasons, and buying a little bit of local history. So the theater was built in 1950, as best we can tell. Anybody remember that grand opening? Yeah, no, you were in San Francisco. So lots of ways to contribute. We appreciate y'all's support over the years, and of course we have some major corporate sponsorship opportunities, including the naming rights. Anybody who wants to see their name in lights, let us know. Thanks very much. With your permission, I'll follow up with a funding request. If there's anything you're able to do this cycle, we, of course, would appreciate it. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Thank you, David. First, I'll ask the public, are there any questions from the public? Okay, then I'll bring it back to the board. I'll start with some comments, Dave. I just want to say, wow. I mean, I remember when you first started here, several years ago now, but just the way things were to where things are now. And every year you come back and give us a report and things just keep getting better and bigger and bigger. And you do it on a shoestring budget. People don't really realize it, but we're very lucky to have an arts council in Yuba-Sutter, and I think that we're very lucky to have you at the helm of that right now. So I just want to commend you for the report and tell you to keep up the great work, and hopefully we can continue to support you. So we're happy to have Supervisor Stevens represent this board on there, but we're also all available. I know that Supervisor Baines is on it as well, and I know I walk over his star on the sidewalk all the time. So I know he's a major supporter as well.
Supervisor Boone is next. He's the only one that hasn't, but you knew. So.
Supervisor Boone needs to get a star on the sidewalk. Then we'll work on that as well. But
it doesn't work that way.
I just want to offer to you that we will continue to support you as much as we can and appreciate the work that the Arts Council does here in the Yuba-Sutter area.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Through the chair.
Yes.
No, I served on the committee for 2 years, and when you're part of these events and you see these kids smiling and laughing and having a great time, I'm telling you, that's what makes it worth it to me, watching these kids smile. I mean, not everyone's in the arts, not everyone's into everything, but it gives an opportunity for those in the community that want to try something. And nothing makes me more happier than see these kids actually having a blast doing something that they normally would. I remember over there at Vista over there, or Butte Vista.
Oh, yeah.
We did there a couple of
Oh,
years.
yeah. That was the Special Arts Fest, yeah.
That was fun. I mean, if you would have seen the enjoyment of those kids' faces, you would have like, wow, this is awesome. And when you see the boxes throughout town, my kids love them right there. You did the ones at Britton School. You're
right.
all over town. It puts a smile on their face. And they'd rather see that than seeing just a great box sitting there. So it's great stuff. It gives everyone an opportunity to get into something that they might not be into sports. They might not be into hunting or fishing. They're into art, you know what I mean? And good for them. Thank you for the opportunity.
You got a weirdo like me. I'm into art and fishing and hunting. Saying.
Yeah, or you can do
To the
both.
chair. To the chair.
Yes. Go ahead, Supervisor Boone.
David, I wanted to comment that great job. And, as you know, I'm new here and wow, very impressive. There was one thing that came through Yuba City that the new bridge that came in, and that Sutter Street used to have a mural underneath it in that bridge. Is that something that you're looking into?
Well, we worked on a grant with the city that we didn't get a couple of years ago, but we have, but nothing currently underway, but we'd love to bring it back for sure.
Perfect.
Yeah, I hate to see.
Great, though. Really great job.
Go away like that. It's tough. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Go ahead, Supervisor.
As you know, also I'm relatively new to this board too, and one of the first things I went to and I was very impressed by was we brought in people from all over the state. The council or our council did to represent the Yuba-Sutter area, and I talked with a lady from San Francisco and very impressed with what we were doing and everything. So it's very cool to see us getting out in the other parts of the state and letting them know what we're doing here in Yuba-Sutter.
Thanks so much for being there. We hosted the California Arts Council monthly meeting a few months back, and Supervisor Stevens was there and other community leaders, and they were knocked out. And just to brag, kind of to put another feather in our cap, we are one of the top 10 rated arts councils in the state, rural, big city. They have a 6-point rating system we have to reapply every year. And I think of the 10 years I've been doing it, except for 1 or 2 years, we've been 6 out of 6 across the board. So thank you.
Great job. Supervisor?
Yeah, last thing through the chair. Your Veterans Art Program, because I wasn't even aware of that. So that just made me really happy, especially, we're coming up Memorial Weekend.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that's a big deal. That's a big deal for me. My dad served in the Navy in World War II, not my grandfather, but my dad. You know what I mean? So, and my uncles all served, and that's amazing.
It's huge, yeah.
That's great for what you're doing for the veterans.
And if I may, one of the pictures I showed, I won't go back, but a fellow named Roger, he'd been a Marine cannoneer. I didn't even know that was a job title. And he told us after he'd made a little dinner set and a cup and saucer, he was living in some halfway house. I don't know what his issues were, but he came every week for weeks. And he said, in the Marines, they told me how to blow stuff up. In here, you told me how to make things.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Kill him. Right? I rest my case.
Yeah, perfect. With that, this is a presentation only, but I'd like to, if we could give them a round of applause for the great work they've been doing. Thank you.
MC Steel Magnolias, opening June 13th at the Sutter Theater Center for the Arts.
June 13th. Great. Thank you, David. Okay, we'll move on to the next appearance item. Madam Clerk.
Approval of an adjustment to the fiscal year 24-25 adopted budget, increasing appropriations by $137,499 within the Agricultural Commissioner's budget, offset by an increase in state aid for agricultural revenue to fund vacant positions, purchase services, supplies, and capital assets.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Nicholas Oliver, Assistant Agricultural Commissioner Sealer. We're here before you today for approval of an adjustment to the fiscal year 2024-25 adopted budget, increasing appropriations by $137,499 within the Agricultural Commissioner's budget, and to approve the purchase and addition of 2 capital asset vehicles and 1 capital asset equipment piece to the department's capital asset listing. The department's approved budget for 2024-25 includes $388,000 in pesticide mill assessment revenue. This is an intergovernmental revenue associated with the sale of pesticides in the state of California. Funds are dispersed to the counties based on multiple criteria, including hours and costs expended in the pesticide use enforcement program in the previous year. These funds have been received late in the fiscal year. We are on appearance today in effort to allow as much time as possible for purchasing and recruitment. In the current year, unanticipated revenues received from this source were $140,037. The department is seeking approval to recognize and offset this increase with an increase in appropriations to salaries and benefits, services and supplies, and capital assets in the amounts of $137,499 allocated as follows. Permanent salaries, $15,707 for funding to fill vacant Ag Standard Bio 1 and Secretary positions for the month of June 2025. Services and supplies, $28,996. Capital asset equipment, $4,612. This is for completion of the water bench project, which your board previously approved. And we were met with a change order this past year, which prevented us from completing and placing the bench into service. So the $4,612 is below the capital asset threshold, but would allow us to complete the project. There is $33,776 for capital asset vehicle. This is a small truck. And $54,408 for a crew cab four-wheel drive vehicle. There's a net zero fiscal impact to the general fund in fiscal year 24-25, and any capital assets purchased would remove that asset from the schedule of replacement in future budget years. Additionally, 93% of these expenditures would be eligible for unclaimed gas tax reimbursement in the following year. Following approval, purchases will be arranged through general services or at the department level as appropriate. The department has consulted with UC Cooperative Extension regarding transfer of the replaced vehicles from Ag to UC. There's additional detail in the staff report, but I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, first I ask for public comment. If there's none, then I'll bring it back to the board for discussion.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
Ken, this question is going to go out to you and the group that we're working with right now on quoting leased vehicles.
Oh, it's on. Yes, go ahead.
So where are we at with that program right now, the bidding and so forth, and I should say the comparisons?
So the work is ongoing. The vendor has had the numbers and the figures that we're trying to work with him on, and they're still working on their projections right now. As of just earlier today, I had to give them some more information on sheriff vehicles, but we're pretty close. I think for this purpose, we would opt to purchase the vehicles, and I can go in more detail at a later time on how they project that they're going to save us money by leasing versus what we're doing. So we're looking for really apples to apples comparison. So how much would it cost just at a unit level, lease me one vehicle versus buy, and let's look at the difference and how much we could actually save. So we're doing that. We also engaged with Enterprise to look at their leasing. Some of the interesting things we're learning is that Enterprise has a kind of a nationwide contract. So Sutter County being so small, we still benefit from pricing that, say, LA County would get, or like an entire state would get. So that kind of makes it attractive for that aspect. And I know we've been working really closely with Development Services on some of their equipment. And I think, you know, credit to the supervisors bringing back that resource from CSAC, because it looks like it's going to be a real big cost savings for the county if we utilize them for Development Services needs.
Sounds good. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, any other comments from the board? Okay, then I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, first by Supervisor Ziegemeier, second by Supervisor Baines. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Boone?
Yes.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Ziegemeier?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Stevens?
Aye.
Okay, the ayes have it. The motion carries. Thank you very much. And now we'll move on to the next item.
Adoption of a resolution authorizing an amendment to the California Public Employees Retirement System contract for safety members, introduction of an ordinance authorizing amendment, waives full reading and directs the clerk to read the title only, and continues the matter to June 24th, 2025 for adoption.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members of the board. Veronica Baumgardner, HR. In December of '24, so recently, we were in front of your board with an approved memorandum of understanding with the Sutter County Peace Officers Association, so our deputies, where we brought forth a 2-year contract for July 24 through June 30, 2026. One of the provisions of that contract was to initiate a contract agreement with CalPERS by March 1st to include military service credit as public service for county peace officers. Oddly enough, this was our only group that did not have that provision available to them in their contract. And what this will do, it'll allow, members themselves to elect to purchase up to 4 years of service credit if they had active military or Marine service prior to their employment here. Again, this benefit only applies to active members within that group, although all of our other groups have it. And pursuant to Section 7507 of the Government Code, all the benefit changes such as this has to come before your board as an appearance item, and then we'll make the final adoption of the ordinance at the next meeting. The fiscal impact, there is no cost associated to this. There's no new evaluation required by CalPERS. It's just the contract amendment where employees will now have that option themselves to purchase that credit time. Any questions? Let me know.
Okay, thank you. Any public comment? Okay, there being none, I'll bring it back to the board for discussion.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
Move to approve staff's recommendation.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a first by Supervisor Bain, second by Supervisor Stevens, and I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Boone?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Ziegemeier? Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Stevens?
Aye.
I can have the clerk read the title of the ordinance, please.
An ordinance of the County of Sutter amending the Sutter County Ordinance Code by amending Chapter 58, Section 030, authorizing an amendment to the contract between the County of Sutter and the Board of Administration of the California Public Employees Retirement System.
All right, thank you very much. I'll move on to the next item. It's Steve Smith, the County Administrator.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Chair and Supervisors. Just a couple things. One, I wanted to clarify that staff have direction for a gold resolution or whatever the appropriate action would be to recognize the Moose Club for their service for the employee picnic, and also to prepare recognition for the Sheriff's Employees of the Year, which there's 4, and schedule them for a future meeting. And then also, Sutter County's population in 1850 was about 3,400, and the whole state was about 92,000, which Sutter County is about 98,000 now, so.
Wow, okay. Well, that's an interesting fact. Thank you,
Thank you.
Mr. Smith. And then the clerks, if you want to add his recommendations to our vote, that would be great. And then with that, we'll come back to the board for board reports, and we'll start with Supervisor Boone.
I have nothing today.
Okay, Supervisor Baines.
Nothing to report.
Nothing to report. Supervisor Dickemeyer.
Close in memory of William Lemonager, who passed away recently in Sutter, and Tom Barkhouse. I don't know if you guys all knew Tom Barkhouse grew up in Meridian.
Yeah.
I mean, his cars, his amazing classic cars were awesome. Knew Tom through the Lions Club, through the Native Sons of the Golden West. Great guy, 94 years old. Heck of a mechanic, who's brother to Bob Barkhouse, who was former mayor. And at the last meeting, we'd spoke about plaques for the championship teams. Yuba City just won the section championship, first one since 2015.
That's right.
So we definitely want to, whoever we can get that plaque and maybe present it at their whatever event they have going on, because that's a big deal. They're in the state playoffs now. So we're rooting for them. And Sutter High School won the league championship in baseball. And please, let's look in how East Nick did, Live Oak did, and so forth, and River Valley, so we can make sure we get their plaques. Wow. School is coming to an end next week, which congratulations to all the graduates. We hope you guys have a safe grad night, safe graduation weekend, have a lot of fun, be safe. We're excited for you. I know we're all going to be throughout these graduations and so forth. We all got relatives and so forth graduating. It's huge. Last but not least, I'd like to do a plaque for Walt Ziegenmeyer. Walt's still around. Walt's a cousin of mine who's done so much for the community of Sutter. It's mind-boggling. I mean, this guy is from softball to Lions Club all over the place. If he's had Walt's backhoe service, for the last 50 years. If anyone ever needs a tree planter or a whole planter, he's there to help you out. That's what community is all about, that's why I love it here. We all help our neighbors out, but love to do a plaque in thanking him for all his community involvement and everything he's done for the community of Sutter and Sutter County in general. That's it for me.
All right, thank you, Supervisor. Supervisor Stevens.
Yes, I would like to request a certificate of recognition for Berry Elementary School students Evelyn Colazzo. She has a 4.0 student, or she is a 4.0 student who is enrolled in advanced math class, a member of our leadership team, a member of CJSF. She has an infectious personality and maintains a positive and uplifting attitude at all times. Also requesting a certificate for Indivir Donda. She also is a 4.0 student who's enrolled in advanced math class, member of our leadership team, and a member of CJSF. So if I could get a certificate for both those students, that would be great.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor. Any other announcements? Nope. Okay, there being none. So I have a few announcements. First of all, for the heart of Sutter County, we have the Plumas Street Stroll happening this weekend, so May 31st. Hope you can all join us. It's going to be probably the biggest one we've ever had, so we're really looking forward to it. And also in the heart of Sutter County, and Supervisor Stevens joined me on this one, but we had a celebration for the new lighting that went up on Center Street. If you haven't been there in the evening, you should check it out. It's really cool. You'll like the lighting, and it lends to the ambience of the area. I found out the other night, too, that you could use that for an event of your own. So if you want to, I don't know what they charge, but you can actually shut the street down and use that lighted area. So if you needed it for an event, keep that in mind. And then lastly, in the heart of Sutter County as well, the 2nd District, Yuba City High, as Supervisor Ziegelmeyer mentioned, won the division championship, and we're really excited. The whole district is just in celebration mode right now, so we want to make sure we recognize them with the plaque. Assemblyman Gallagher and Congressman LaMalfa want to also be added to that recognition time when we do that. And I'm thinking maybe the next meeting if possible, but I don't know if that'll be too late or not. It depends on the events they have coming up. So we just want to do that. And then I'd also request a plaque for recognizing the Yuba City Moose Lodge for preparing all the food for a great employee appreciation picnic. It was a great picnic, and the food was wonderful as well. And then I'd like to request a letter of condolence for George Megan, who's a longtime elections volunteer here for Sutter County. Okay, any other comments from board members? Okay, I'll entertain a motion. Have a first from Supervisor Ziegelmeyer. Second. You haven't made one? Okay, never mind.
Second.
Second from Supervisor Baines. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. Meeting adjourned. Take care, everybody.
Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
Yuba-Sutter's alive. It's the truth that comes through. Yuba-Sutter, done alive. It's the truth that comes through.